I can't get enough of your love, baby.
Can't get enough of your love, baby. Good morning. Welcome to the Unrivaled Potential Podcast. This is my friend Michael Pomeroy, owner, founder, and head idea man at all things Unrivaled Podcast, Unrivaled Plumbing and Heating, Unrivaled Shower and Bath. He's just unrivaled, folks. And I'm Ryan. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, all things unrivaled, huh? I can't know because some people have stolen some of the unrivaled stuff.
We'll buy them out.
I'd like to. I actually had that thought because somebody's got, unrivaled coffee roasting out of Montana.
But
they're out of whitefish, which is even worse.
Yeah, whitefish.
Yeah, talking about snobby.
Yeah. But we don't need unrivaled coffee. We've got pipe and torch.
Yeah. Now this 5-second break. Yeah. Just like when you get on Amazon Prime now, Sorry, this one's got ads, and this one's got ads. Well, they've all got ads. Yeah.
Bezos was like, I'm getting to $1 trillion. Let's go.
You got to figure it out.
Well, once you have all the market, then you can say, we're doing ads. People are like, oh.
But I got to watch it anyway because it's right in the middle of my season. Right?
Yeah. I was right in the, I was trying to think of something that's on Amazon Prime. I can't think of any shows though.
There's a good TV show on there called Bosch that I watched several years ago.
About the refrigerator manufacturer?
No, same spelling though. I never thought of it like that. Funny, I did make that connection. Yeah.
Then we're going to give it an ice maker.
Iceman, that was another good movie.
You have some interesting tastes.
About the hitman from
Ooh.
He was an Italian hitman from the 70s? 70s or 80s. That was a pretty good movie. Bosch he's a cop. It's a cop show. But I'm really finicky about him for whatever reason. Most of the time I don't get into them.
Cop shows?
Cop shows, yeah.
Yeah.
There's been 2, bar exception, that I have. One was Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck. And
that's just because Tom Selleck's a badass.
Well, he is, yeah. And my mustache is better, so I was
You're sitting there just rubbing your mustache jealously.
Yeah. I was like, it must be nice, huh?
I could be Tom Selleck. I could have been Magnum P.I. I, on the other hand, do not have that.
Yeah. I can't grow nothing else. That's all right. Yeah.
I couldn't grow anything till I was 30.
Yeah,
even armpit hair, I was no. People are like, yeah, right.
Yeah. That hits when you're 13. It's just like poof. White man afro.
You're like, check it out, I'm a man.
Yeah. I'm a man. Anyway, what's on the roster this morning, man?
Well, I think we've talked.
You had some ideas yesterday we were talking about.
Yeah, it was weird. We were like doing homework and stuff. We're both getting old. It's not.
No, just because you hit 40 doesn't mean you start bringing me into the same category as you.
Yeah.
That's offensive.
Mike's the oldest 35-year-old I've ever met.
Well, especially when his back goes out. Yeah. Help me up. I'm a turtle. I'm stuck on my back. Help.
Give me that heat pack and call the chiropractor. No, you're only as old as you feel. And I think it really is mental. Because we talked about this. I know a bunch of guys who are 70, and some of them are alive and chasing dreams and doing cool stuff, and some of them are just waiting for the sweet release of death. And it really is all mental. That being said, being all mental, what can we do to, prevent and promote health and things like that? And we were talking about the little things. And for you, it's the duck walk across the gym with your resistance bands on so that you can keep your hips strong and your old man hip doesn't go out.
Well, hopefully, yeah. That's the goal. I don't want that again. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it is stretching. I've never been a particularly flexible person mentally or physically. So I have to do my stretching every day because otherwise the shoulder and the foot seize up like little turds and
oh yeah.
So, But the reason I brought it up for this, not because we're a health and fitness podcast, although last week kind of felt like that. We were talking about diets and stuff. I'm doing carnivore. We'll do one episode someday, and Mike will just list every single cool diet that he's done over the last 20 years, because that's a whole podcast.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I enjoy different trends. It's no different than in business too. There's all kinds of new trends out there and things to try, and just got to try them out. And sometimes a diet's not very expensive. Trying new things in business can be.
Let me try this new website software.
I never thought I'd figure out how to spend $200,000 in a month. But until business.
That is fun to think about, though. In my personal life, how would I spend $200,000 in a month?
Yeah, I'd have paid cash for something. I couldn't even. Yeah, I mean, it'll get to that point eventually. Like personal life. I think of like fun. I mean, having fun money to where you had $200,000 to just go blow it. I couldn't imagine doing it right now. Like I wouldn't even have. I would feel so guilty.
Well, yeah, when it's the only $200,000 you've got.
Yeah,
it's not a good decision. Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I'd be sitting there just like, oh man, just paid cash for that pickup, and now I'm going on some trip or whatever.
It's gonna break down.
Yeah, got $10,000 in my wallet. Just,
oh geez, burning a hole in your wallet.
I got so mad the other day. It was when I went to the association. I didn't have any cash in my wallet. It makes me angry. I hate not having cash. Makes me feel better. I don't spend it. I just like having it.
Interesting.
Sitting there, it literally left and went to the ATM. So I could
yes, Michael, let's talk about this. Why do we need to have
Well,
cash?
It goes back to with my mom when I was a kid,
Yes.
It was that deep rejection that I felt. Now
So when did you discover that your parents hated you?
When they made me go to work when I was 13 and earn my living.
Dad gave me a birthday cake, a pool cue, and a kick in the butt and said, go earn your own money, right?
That's right. Yeah. If you're not first, you're last. I could have lived my life by that.
What's it, Ricky Bobby? Well, anyway, I brought up the stretching and the duck walk exercises because it's a metaphor for life and business. And before you dragged us into that rabbit hole, no.
Sorry, lack of self-control this morning. I'll try to gather my
Rein it in. Deal with your mommy issues some other time.
Don't have any mommy issues.
Daddy issues, so. Yeah. Well, we won't talk about the bird. Yeah. No. But stretching and doing duck walk exercises with resistance bands and things like that, it's the little things that prepare us for, geez, we had a terrible month, so I spent $200,000 in a month to, keep moving forward and keep everybody paid and happy and not mutiny. Mutiny on the HMS Unrivaled.
I dare them to mutiny.
That would be kind of a fun day. Bring it on, bitches. Yeah. You want this coffee cup, you got to take it from my cold, dead hands. Yeah. But yeah, so being prepared, and we've talked about this in previous podcasts. What do you do on a daily basis to make sure that when shit hits the fan, that you're already ready? And some of it's little things like, working these little tiny muscles in your hips and hip flexors to make sure that your back doesn't go out, or doing a stretch so that you don't seize up and become immobilized. But what are those little things that we can do every day in a business that's going to keep us from being immobilized or writhing in pain as a business?
I think business for me has been so. I would guess it's going to be like this once I step out and let others take control of everything's going on. But if you have a system in place where you're, this is what you do on your daily routine for work, right? This is what we need to accomplish. Mm-hmm. This is what we're working towards. the tendency in personal life is to, when things get tough, is to self-destruct, right? Or the first thing to go is every good habit, right? So whether it's you can't focus, right? So you stop listening to a podcast or something helpful, and then you crank on some music. Nothing wrong with music. Sometimes you just need that to get your head in a better space. Exactly. A little bit of glow sticks and some whistles and little rave dancing. And, I really focused for work after that, as long as I've stayed away from the X,
The X. Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yeah, I think so. They got tired of Molly and they've gone to other stuff. And so that certainly is, from what I've learned about my human nature, and it seems like everyone else is the same way. It's the first thing to go is all the good habits, right? And even last week when my back was out till Thursday, so from Monday to Thursday, I was in absolute misery and
real bitch to deal with too. Let me tell you.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, as soon as I left here, I just wanted to go lay down, and
that's real good for the old motivation.
It's just getting off of work and laying on the couch to decompress my back, so I couldn't feel anything, but if you were. That is a very easy habit to fall into. I was excited by Friday when I actually felt good and I could go back to my routines, but then it'd been a week, right? So if you go back to the gym after a week and you hit everything hard again, get a good pump going, stand in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm twice the size, and
Michael's a child.
You inflate yourself just a little bit, and then you're sore. And so you got to keep pushing through and you've got to almost recreate, which is why routines are so important, because it's so easy to fall out of them, and we all do it, to where those good things disappear. And so it's just waking up and doing them. It's not willpower, like we've talked before, right? There's up and down moments where right after a meal, right, you're lacking willpower early in the morning, or if you have thoughts of what the day is going to be like, or you don't have money in the bank and you have no idea where it's coming from, willpower goes out the window. And so you listen to some of these motivational speakers and they're like, you just got to get excited about it. It's like, man, fuck, it doesn't work like that,
Oh, okay, I'll just get excited.
Yeah. And
thanks for the advice.
But the reality is, it's the discipline of going, this is what I'm getting up and doing anyway. And then when you get through that, at least you've been successful. And then you can go through everything else that you need to accomplish. And so as long as everyone that is in a role, some kind of role in a company, they know this is what I do every day up until 10 a.m. Once they get those accomplished, then normally the mindset's shifted already. And it's a focus. It's a refocus daily. Because else I've had those moments too. It's like, well, I got to go out and meet people and do this. And
that's really hard when your back's out, or, the wife just yelled at you, or you're just feeling like a turd.
Yeah.
Just to go out and meet people and be like, hey, I'm Mike with Unrivaled. You should use my company because we're the best. And on the inside, you're like, I'm not the best. I'm the worst.
Yeah, especially if you're down in that way too. Yeah, physical or emotional. So you just have to do it, and everyone's watching you, right? So it's you're allowed to have those days, but they shouldn't affect you, because it comes and goes depending on if you had bad pizza the night before, you didn't sleep very good, you got in an argument, or there's just a lot of tough confrontation that you have to have, and you've just got to keep the guys motivated, keep the ladies motivated. And so it just really, you just have to fall into that routine and know why you're doing it. And I've been like this, I've changed some of my morning routine around, and 4 a.m. was working great. I think there was a season there where it was necessary, and now I'm
sleeping in until 4:30 or 5.
5, yeah. I set my alarm for 5 now, and it's just fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. Huh. I did it for what, 5 months? 5 months, just about.
Yeah.
October, I think, last year.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I was talking to Jess on the phone, and I was getting all my stuff done in the morning. Now we don't have those phone calls, and so I just it's not a bad thing. It's just she's not working.
Different
at that
schedule
time.
for her.
Yeah, different schedule. So I was like, oh. So then that was my motivation to get up at 4. And I was in bed by 9 or exhausted every night, especially when I was sleeping in the shop here.
Oh yeah.
In my hammock. Now I don't need that. And 5 o'clock.
Code enforcement. Don't worry about that. Right?
Yeah.
He wasn't sleeping in a commercial building.
He's never going to watch this. It's all right.
Yeah. How do you know it's a he? You know the guy?
I do. Yeah, quite grumpy. Yeah.
I don't watch podcasts.
Yeah.
None of that YouTube crap for me. So what I'm hearing is you leave yourself no choice. It's not about, like you said, it's not about willpower. It's about having the habit instilled so that when you roll out of bed, your gym shoes are right there and they just slide right on your feet and you go to the gym. You don't even have to think about, okay, what am I doing this morning? It's just gym, Bible, good book, good podcast, get to work.
It's all laid out on the table, right? And I know what that routine is. And then what's really helped me is planning what the 3 or 4 things that I'm going to do today.
Mm-hmm.
I think about them last night, right? And I write them down last night, the day before, because I have to. I'm not, I have listened to some of these. I'm not on social media much, but I've shared some videos, and I've been on YouTube, some of the reels, and you watch these guys' morning routines, and they're just like, you got to get up, you got to get excited for the day, or even worse, they go, I just wake up ready for life, excited that I'm going to go make millions, and it's like, well, not everyone's life is like that. How do you get to that point?
Yeah, right.
And through the season of growth, it's so difficult sometimes to keep yourself motivated that way. And then you feel guilty. You're like, man, I'm not excited to get up in the morning. And maybe I'm not a morning person. And you define yourself in a certain way. And I like to sleep in. I would rather sleep until 7 or 8. Saturday mornings, normally I sleep until about 7, and
slacking.
And it feels good, And then Sundays I hit the reset again. I go back to, because else if I do Saturday, Sunday, 7, because so I sleep until 7, and then I don't go to bed until midnight, because then it's my normal schedule, and then it's midnight, and then Sunday I'll sleep until 7:30, and then I go to wake up Monday morning, and it's like, I look like Wally walking around hitting the wall, and need some sunshine to recharge, Yeah. But you listen to these guys, and they're like, I just wake up excited, jump out of bed, and ready to go. And you're like, that doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that for me, and I don't believe them either.
People who get that high up, a lot of times they crash hard too.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They forget to mention their nap that they get during work while they're still making millions.
Yes, that's what we're all going for.
But I have to physically
nap money.
If the alarm goes off and I know what I'm going to do, I literally throw the blankets and take my legs out. As soon as the alarm goes off, I have the same movement. I go like this, or if I'm sleeping on my side, which I'm a side sleeper, and then throw my feet out.
Learning all kinds of things about Mike today.
Yeah. Throw my feet out of bed.
Is that how you threw out your back?
No, but when my back was out, text that morning, and I was like, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not even moving. I haven't even moved my hips yet, and I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
But I have to physically throw my legs out of bed, because else I'll just go back to sleep, and I won't reset another alarm. I'm not a
snooze guy.
I'm not a snooze guy, because I think it's unhealthy. And then most relationships I've been in, I think most relationships have that one person that has 27 alarms every 5 minutes. I don't know every relationship I've been in with women. They've normally been that. I do know some guys that are like that too. It's like snooze, 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 snooze. And they know that, so they set up a system that works for them. I don't think it works. I know it works. You got to get up eventually, but I don't think it's
not healthy.
It's the best solution for you. Yeah. So I have to physically, I've learned this several years ago, to physically throw my feet out of bed, because I'd rather just stay in bed when it's warm, especially if somebody's in bed with me.
Yeah.
Right. It's easier for me when there's nobody in bed with me. And that just depends on the day of the week, But it's I'm just kidding.
It's a great time to mention our sponsor, Pipe and Torch.
Yeah. But I have to physically do that, those movements. But I still have to do it now. And I've been on this, I went from 5 a.m. to 4 a.m., did that for 5 months. And then even switching back, and even before that, I mean, I've been an early morning guy, partially because of my career choice.
Right. Well, it just feels good. You get up
most of my life.
You get a couple things done before everybody else gets out of bed.
Yeah.
And
it does feel good eventually, right? But it takes 45 minutes to get
in the
there.
moment, yeah.
But even small routines of starting the coffee pot, I tried this for a while of setting the coffee pot to
automatically come on.
And I was like, that doesn't work. That you come out and the coffee's already going. If you go out there and you do a French press or you set the pot up and you do it yourself, it's a good routine to then your body starts to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start enjoying your purpose behind it. Or there's some mornings too where you're sitting there reading and you're falling asleep while reading a book. And it's what it is. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy my life. I just do the things that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do enjoy getting up early as a rule, but there are still mornings where it's like, this is stupid. You should go back to bed, There's a warm body in there I can curl up to. Not right now, but most people, if you're listening, they're in a relationship like that, and that is really hard.
The majority of our listeners are mature adults who have a significant other, right?
Right. And it's but you stick to that routine and you stick to the workout, and then you come back and cuddle later if you want to,
Oh yeah.
Especially after a workout, you got that testosterone boost. I can't make a kickstand joke right now, but
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
Well, it's because you're 40.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a bird. You set yourself up for that.
Right?
Yeah.
While you're talking, I was thinking about, leaving no option and just creating that habit and the cues that create new habits. Have you ever read, and I can never remember which one's which. So Atomic Habits, The Power of Habit, and then The Happiness Advantage. Have you read
I've read Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read the other two.
So both great books. The Happiness Advantage goes to one of the things you were talking about, as far as you're talking about these guys who are like, I just jump out of bed ready for life and I'm making millions and stuff like that. The Happiness Advantage, really, it's powerful, scientifically proven data that you get happy first and then you become successful, not the other way around. Because if you're unhappy and unsuccessful, success isn't going to make you happy.
Right.
So get happy now and find what makes you happy and start chasing dreams or, start chasing a spiritual calling or whatever it is, and be happy. And then the success will follow along with it, because whether that's success of millions of dollars or huge corporations, or, hey, you're just being a great dad and making an impact on your family.
And success looks so different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the exhaustion that happens from starting these companies and doing it doesn't always mean that you're going to be that is what success looks like. That's how I define it.
Mm-hmm.
I define success as being in shape physically, having lots of money and multiple companies of growing in that way. And then also, having closeness with my family,
mm-hmm.
and having that relationship with my kids and, preferably a wife sometime, so that's what success looks like to me. And so that's what not a husband, I'm not really into that, I mean, it depends.
Praise the Lord.
No. I mean, sometimes you just meet the right guy,
I don't know. And that has nothing to do with being 40.
Yeah. So success is different for everyone. Sometimes I was, interviewing a guy a couple of weeks ago, and his success is like, my wife just wants me to be home more.
Mm.
And he's like, I've got no desire to go off and do my own thing. I just want to be home more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's great. Yeah.
We can help with that.
Yeah. And so it's success is different for everyone. We all define it in our own ways. And so you just pursue what you think is successful and decide if you can sacrifice what you need to go for it.
Yeah. Yep.
But I want to be able to spend $200,000 in a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can't imagine it, but I want to. You know?
I was listening to a guy. He's actually a comedian, but he's kind of I think he's a faith-based comedian, so gets a little more serious sometimes. And he was talking about how God blesses us with wealth first so that we can give, and he gives us that ability to bless others because he's the greatest giver. He gave us everything that we have, and he gives us a little taste of that by blessing us with wealth. And so if we take that wealth and do good things with it, then more of it comes. Sorry, it was rabbit hole, but it's what I thought of when you're talking about
success,
blowing $200,000 in a day.
Oh yeah,
like can you imagine when you that's kind of like one of my dreams is when every cause that I believe in is fully funded, and I've given more than my fair share, and then it's like, and then I roll up in my Ferrari to the banquet to say, hey, look at all the good we did.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a Ferrari. It could be a Bentley.
Well, you've got 5 kids, man. It's going to have to be an Escalade or a G-Wagon.
You know what we'll do is we'll just buy 5 Ferraris and all roll.
Oh, they'll be old enough by then. Yeah. Next couple of years.
Yeah, I'll have 2 drivers.
You'll have a whole train of Ferraris. Yeah.
Beep beep.
I'm not sure that's what they sound like. But
I've never actually. I don't think I've heard a Ferrari horn, but it does seem like that's the type of horn they would have. The Italians, they're kind of weird.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I married a Jersey Italian, so I can say that.
You can say that.
Cut that out. No.
I'll share this with later.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks for tuning in to the Unrivaled Potential Podcast. I'm Mike. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.